Hi. Hey, do you dream of visiting Africa, but the idea seems just too big, too hard, too much, and you have no idea where to start? Well, you are in luck because tonight on Janine and Amy's Travel TV Live, we're pleased to welcome Sandy Salle from Hills of Africa Travel. She's here to answer all of your questions about planning a trip of a lifetime. Hi, Sandy. I think your phone's on.
No, not mine.
Oh, maybe it's Amy's. But before we get started, I have to say hello to my lovely co-host, Amy Kaufman-Rylahan from Time Together Travel. Hey, Amy.
Hey, Janine. Hello, my darling friend Sandy. And I want to wish everybody again a happy Friday. And thank you so much for joining us today. And I am absolutely thrilled to have one of my dearest, closest, most wonderfulest friends on the planet with whom I just adore and love and admire so much. My girlfriend, Sandy, who owns a fantastic, fantastic organization. And I had the illustrious pleasure of being able, to travel with her, with Tim, last November, to Africa, to South Africa and Zimbabwe to be exact. And Sandy put together such a beautiful itinerary for us that it was magnificent. And Sandy, I just want to cheer you again on such a great job that you do to bring Africa to the world and bring such a great understanding of that remarkable, beautiful place. So thank you very, very much.
Cheers.
Cheers to that as I start crying my eyes out. But, it was a magical trip, and I'm, as I said before, and I've said many times, traveling with you guys, it ignited a passion in me, and I became friends with every single one of you. So that's what I'm grateful for, friendship.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in these very tough times right now, and as far away as we are, I can feel your hug, and I can feel your heart. Yes. And Sandy's kind of like me in a lot of emotional ways. So
a lot.
Here's to you. Here's to you, my love. And it's so good to see your face today.
Well, so that's one of the great things about traveling. It does bring people together, people who don't know each other beforehand. You have this common experience, and it really, I feel like it really you dig deep when you travel. So especially
you really
when you go someplace you're not familiar with at all, and it's such a nice opportunity. So before we jump in, I just want to say, for you folks who are watching, you have some questions, just throw them into the chat box, and Sandy will answer all your questions. And also, if you're interested in getting a copy of her presentation or a fabulous guide that we put together, the 9 questions you need to ask before planning a trip to Africa, all you have to do is write the word Africa below, and you'll get it like magic. So it's awesome.
Yep. It'll appear. It's an amazing thing.
So time to get started. So I have a question for you that I think would be fun to ask. If you could relive any one vacation day, what would that be, Sandy?
Well,
Amy's about to cry.
Yeah. As I said before, being with all of you guys in Africa in November, what did we think? I mean, we can't be there right now, but I'm so grateful for those memories. And the one day that I would probably relive over and over and over again was waking up at Camp Wangi in Zimbabwe and going on a morning game drive, coming back and having an outside shower, and then sitting around for breakfast and being told, okay, you guys, we have to go. We've got a very long day planned. Get in the vehicles and off you go. So we're driving down the road, and I think it's like 9:30 in the morning, and I'm in a vehicle with about 4 or 5 other people, and Amy and Tim are in the vehicle behind us, and our vehicle is stopping all the time because I have to check the tires. Do you remember what checking tires means?
Yes, I do.
Yes, checking the tires means that you have to go to the bathroom. So you go behind the vehicle and you check the tires. Obviously, you're in the middle of nowhere, completely in the middle of nowhere with no one else around you. So Amy's vehicle had to stop quite often. Anyway, at night, at about 9:30, I decided it's time for us all to just chill out and relax. And out came the beers at 9:30 in the morning. And then, the day just got better and better and better. And we arrived at the Hyde Safari Camp in a different part of Wangi. And we go out on a game drive and we find Cecil's pride of lions out of nowhere. They're sitting on the road, just sitting on the road. And we get home after a fabulous game drive and sunset cocktails. And, oh gosh, those sunset cocktails at the at Dove's Nest, which is a honeymoon suite up in the trees. And our cocktails there with the sun setting. Yep. Just magic, absolute magic. And then going to bed with a beautiful, full heart, just being so grateful for my day. And it just, bringing back that kind of experience just sets your heart on fire. And I would live that day over and over again on safari with all these amazing friends.
Well, sounds magical. So is this the picture of... You saw the pride?
Yes, that is one of the pictures, correct.
That is just an amazing, just beautiful. Like you see a picture like that, you feel like you can feel it's the same mother feeling when you see like a human child with the mother, I mean, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. And in case our viewers and listeners don't remember who Cecil was, I just want to briefly explain who Cecil was. You might remember a couple years ago, there was an American dentist who went on a different kind of safari than what Sandy brought us on. And he killed Cecil. And it was Cecil's pride that we came across that day. And it was probably one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And his grandchildren were there, and it was amazing. And they're not bothered by you when you're on safari, so long as you don't do anything like get out of your Jeep. I'll let Sandy tell that, but I just want everybody to remember who Cecil was, God bless his soul, and that we saw all his descendants that day, which was
magical, I'm sure.
Magical.
Oh my gosh.
It was absolute, and he lives on in the African bush, so it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd love to expand on that later because Amy and I are on the same page. One of the reasons why Cecil's pride is doing well and the females are doing well is because of conservation. So we can get into that later, and how tourism to Africa is so important. So
sure.
Get into that.
I think that's an important topic too, because I've just read, there's so many places now. The big concern used to be over tourism, but now there's no tourism. So the money that would come in would protect the environment and
absolutely.
Conservation, and the poaching's a problem now. And we could talk about it now.
I mean,
good segue.
I just had a fascinating conversation with someone earlier today in the same region that we went to, Amy, Wangi National Park. After Cecil died, they set up this fund called, it's a conservation fund called Conservation Wildlife Fund. And it was born because of Cecil the lion and illegal hunting and poaching, etc. And we met Steve Alexander under the trees that day, Amy, who is who runs the Conservation Wildlife Fund. Well, one of the camps in Wangi, Bexton Shlovo, who owns African Bush Camps, last May, they gave over $40,000 to conservation and the communities and protecting the wildlife and helping the rangers, like the national parks rangers. All of that money came from tourists in donations and traveling. It was purely from the travelers.
Oh my golly, stands.
This May, they had $1,000. And it just makes my arms go, I mean, you can see the goosebumps on my arms. That money goes to help people, like put them through schooling, the conservation of people, and helping them in the community. And some of the things we did at the Hyde, for example, the vegetables come from the community. Some of the products that you see inside the store comes from the local community, the beadwork, the beautiful artistic work, etc.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right now, there's no tourism. So the mission now is to make sure that we are protecting the wildlife, the people, the environment, so that we can enjoy this in the future. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm on right now is, because there are no tourists, we still have to be donating. We still have to be looking after the people. And, like, for example, just a feeding program for the Wangi National Park people in the community. How are they getting their food if they're not getting paid?
Right.
So just something so simple. But yeah, so it's really important. Tourism needs to continue. And I do think we're in for a magic ride. It is going to be gorgeous. Everyone is going to be wanting to get out and go to all these fantastic places around the world. And, Africa couldn't be more beautiful and more out there and more special. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with all of your clients.
Oh, that's great. And so that leads perfectly to really my first question, because so many people, myself included, have that on our heck yeah list. We really want to go, but it's huge and diverse. And where do you start? How do you even know where to start? Like, I've had people say, because you and I have talked about how gorilla trekking is my dream. And a lot of people have said to me, that's like a second trip. But how do you even know where to start? Do you just go for what you want, or is there someplace to begin?
Yeah, I mean, I personally believe that you should treat each person with their desires and interests. If you want to go and do gorilla trekking, it can be your first trip. Why not?
Right.
Absolutely.
It makes sing and it makes magic happen. So why not go out and do that? And so if you were to come to me and say, I want to go to Africa, don't really know what I want to do, then we would start the process of really nailing down, what their desires are, what their interests are, how excited they are about seeing what kind of animal. For example, we had a 10th wedding anniversary couple quite a few years ago. And the husband was like, I want to see leopard. That's all I want to see. And the wife was like, no, I want to see elephants.
Right. I love elephants too.
Lots and lots and lots of elephants. So we had to really marry those two desires together. How can we give her what she wants and him what he wants? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of you play and you have fun and you put it all together. You want to go gorilla trekking. So it's finding out from you, do you also want to see chimpanzees? Do you also want to see rhinos and giraffes and all of that kind of thing? And putting it all together and making it special for you. Mm-hmm. Really, it's about you and your desires and your dreams. You don't just need to plan a trip based on nothing. You just, plan your trip based on what you want to get out of it.
Yeah. So would you suggest that for example, they pick the one thing that they want to stay at one of those places where you sleep out under the stars at night, or do you pick that one thing and then kind of build out from that?
Absolutely. Again, based on their hobbies, their desires, interests, loves. If they love cooking, we try and build in a cooking class. If they love wine or they love hiking, we can marry hiking with wine. And so it's really kind of getting to know the clients exceptionally well and becoming best friends with them. All of Amy's group, we all became best friends because we got to know each other. Mm-hmm. And I think when you get to know people, you can really understand them, and you can see their dreams in their head and their love and what excites and appeals to them. So, yeah, I don't think there's a trip to Africa that you should buy that is on the back of your shelf. Those magazines. That's not how you should plan your trip. It really should be about what excites you, what makes your heart sing, and build it on that.
Right,
Build it
right.
on everything. I mean, you can marry all sorts of things together if you really tailor it and you make it about the clients, not about me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that is so important. That's probably for every type of trip. If you don't want a cookie cutter, you really have to, especially if it's a trip of a lifetime, like don't,
Right.
Really think about what you want, because there's a good chance it'll be the only time you ever get to go. So make sure it's really the trip that you want. That's
Right.
what I feel.
yeah.
And don't sacrifice a thing. Don't sacrifice. I tell everybody that. Do not sacrifice a thing. Don't think you have to give up this to get that. That's not how it works. Dream big. Just like our intro to this whole thing, Janine, was dream big and it can happen. It absolutely can happen. There's a way to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, and I love what you guys are doing, you know, with your adventures and your escorted tours, because you really can tailor it to exactly what you and your friends or your clients want, and then do extra surprises and extra special things, because you know, this at this day and age, it's not what you say to people, it's how you make them feel at the end of the day. So if you organize, like we did for Tim, we organized a really special birthday celebration. He even got to plant his own tree in Africa. You can't get that out of a magazine that sells, you know, a trip. So
there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Oh
There
my! And that's Leslie. I love Leslie.
Oh, he was amazing.
Yeah.
That's
what
great.
a special day. So yeah, I think it's really about getting to find out exactly what your hobbies are, your desires, your interests, and you know, then dreaming starts.
And then go. So I know that you do a lot of food and wine tours. So what's special about that? So I mean, I know it's special. Everyone's South African wines. And so how does that come together? And what would someone be looking for if they were interested in a culinary experience?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different culinary experiences and wine experiences. So, you know, there's one Winelands tour that we do with very active people. So if you're into active hiking, supping, mountain biking, etc., or horse riding even, you can go to the winelands and have those activities, but then go and do your wine tasting. Or if you've got kids and you're worried about the kid, you can do a chocolate making class for the kids, and then you have your wine tasting with the chocolate and cheese, etc. afterwards. So you really need to kind of figure out the clients and really tailor it to them. But the Winelands is a region about 45 minutes outside of Cape Town, and so easy to combine with Cape Town, and it's nothing like going to Napa Valley. It's completely different.
Good Lord, no.
It's like a bowl, and you've got all these wine estates, but the most gorgeous scenery ever. And then you're going to, you know, some of these, like this one vineyard we went to was called Murati, Muratjie, and it had been there for 300 years. Wow. And there's a story behind it, like the family that sold it to another family, then sold it back to the original family. They had a clause in the contract that said that they couldn't touch anything on the shelves for 100 years. So there were like spider webs and cobwebs added to the story, right? Just gorgeous.
Yeah. So I want to put a picture of it, because you were just talking about people doing, you know, supping, stand-up paddleboarding. And I saw this picture and I'm like, I love this. You can see that in the back, and there's Mr. Penguin.
Oh my God, that was so awesome. Oh, it was so amazing.
I just think that's really neat that you have all those different experiences at once. So I would like to, because we are getting to the end. So I want to talk a little bit more about the different trips that you offer, how you put them together. I'm going to add some pictures, and maybe we can talk a little bit about what they are, about how people get around when they're on your trip. And so I'm going to start doing that now. Okay. So this is obviously on safari. And this like common how you would travel while you were out?
Yeah, so in Southern Africa, which is Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Botswana, those countries anyway in the southern portion of Africa, they have open vehicles. So it's got a roof and then the sides are all open. So it's got a door, but that's it. That's how you travel. And there's either 4 or 6 to a vehicle. So you all get a window seat, which has no windows. And that's the guide is in the front there waving back at us, and he is looking for game, and you've got your binos open and your beady eyes trying to find that first elephant. We always had a game. Who's going to be the first to see an elephant? So
let me ask
Sandy won, by the way.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question now about safety. So people are looking at that vehicle thinking to themselves, so there's no concern about that, like something jumping in or
not one.
What?
Not one.
Yeah.
Not one concern. And Sandy will explain why.
Yeah, there's honestly no concern. I mean, the guides have been in Zimbabwe, for example, they've gone through extensive training, sometimes longer than a college degree.
Wow.
And they know those animals. They can smell them. They can feel. It's almost like they're part of the animal's body, and they can really know when there's danger and when there's not danger. The animals can come as close, like lions can come as close as the door. However, they see the vehicle.
They do.
One big animal. They don't see all of us in the vehicle. So, you're extremely safe, and the guide is key. He knows exactly what he's doing. So again, choosing the right safari camp with the best guides, because you want to get close to those animals and you want to see them, but you also want to be safe. And the guides are phenomenal. They know what they're doing. They are incredible. Yeah, there's Vusi. Vusi. So
how do you pick who you work with? Because like you said, it does depend on the places that you work with and the quality of guides. Like, how do you find your partners?
Absolutely. I mean, it's really important to have a relationship with the camps that you're working with. We personally visit every single property we recommend to our clients. And then each property is chosen based on our clients' needs or desires. It's also guiding and the staff management and the camp staff, like the people who are serving you your drinks and who are coming to do your room. I mean, Sandy Lipkowitz went to her room on the way to safari, and she went to go and collect something, and 20 elephants were outside her door. And
they surrounded her.
Is that it? So I just saw this picture. I had to share this
like
one.
that. Yes, it was like that very much. Yes.
And so, the person who was cleaning her room was like, no, come on inside. Let's watch them for a little bit. There we were going, why is Sandy so late? Yes, it's about relationships and making sure that they've got good guides, because we don't want clients going to Africa and not finding the elephants and not finding the lions. That's really important.
And the giraffe.
I think also for me personally, the ethics and the conservation and looking after the people and looking after their staff is hugely, hugely important. Most of the properties we work with, their staff have been with them for years and years and years. And it's just a testament to how they look after the staff's family. It's hugely important in Africa.
Oh, I bet. And so that picture I just showed, this one, is that how close they can get to your accommodations?
Yes.
Like you could be in your room and see, are they drinking out of the pool?
Yes, they did that. They did that to Tim and I, just so you know, Janine, and that was exactly where we stayed. And you have a little swimming pool, a little dipping pool, if you will, and the elephants come right up to the pool and drink the water, and then the babies will get in it. That's what happened to Tim and I. No, it truly did. It happened to Tim and I that, I don't know if you remember that, Sandy, that was that night we came back and all the elephants were roaming around camp. And Tim and I went back to our tent and the elephants were just leaving, but there was no more water left in the pool, but water was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere, all over our campsite. It was remarkable. It was amazing. And the baby was soaking wet. And because obviously he was in frolicking and having a great time. It was absolutely what that was like. And they do that. They come in and they take their baths and they, drink the water and spray it everywhere. Oh, it was amazing.
I would love to see that. I would burst into tears, I think, if I saw that.
Oh, you have no idea.
Hey, look, we're just crying listening to Amy.
I know. I mean, just amazing. It's amazing.
Changed my life on so many levels. It absolutely.
So that goes to show you like the different types of accommodations. And I know that if people are really worried about budget, there's a lot of different ways to travel. But I do want to show this one picture because it's awesome. I'm sorry. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, I think that just epitomizes Africa in a way, because you've got these wide open spaces, literally nothing around you. You can't see another person out from your bath there. And they spoil you. They want you to just enjoy every single day and be smiling and happy. So you've got champagne and a bubble bath waiting for you. Yep. One of our clients, we organized, it was a honeymoon in East Africa, and we actually organized for a bath to be put in the middle of the bush, in the middle of it. So, anything can be done. Just make sure that you're dreaming big and enjoying life, because there's just so many fabulous opportunities to have the vacation of a lifetime. An experience of a lifetime, I think, is a better word.
Absolutely. It's absolutely an experience. Victoria Falls is just the whole thing. And what Sandy does, which I admire so much, and I think this is where a lot of my connection came from, is the conservation part, Janine, and also how they're helping the African population and people. I mean, we saw how they're recycling, which was, to anyone from the Western world would be like, oh my golly, I'm going to send you machines to do this, but they do it with a rock. They crush aluminum cans with a rock, and then they bag them all up and take them over, and they get money for these kids so they can go to school, and so they have jobs. It's an amazing experience. So Sandy, along with the beautifulness, if that's not even a word, but the incredible experience that you have on safari and in Cape Town, and there's not anything that isn't at your beck and call. You can have anything you want. And I planned a whole thing for Tim's birthday. I literally just said to Sandy, it's Tim's birthday while we're there. Can we do something special? And she just ran with it. And she was like, and then finally, like a week before we left, she said, is this okay? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, that's better than I could have done for his birthday for sure in Wilbraham, Massachusetts. So my point was that Sandy and her team on the ground. So when you're there, and these are people that run up to Sandy and hug her and pick her up off the ground, and so happy to see her. And if you can't figure out, this is where she's from. So from her beautiful accent. Yeah. So what Sandy does on these trips is that she also adds, part of the experience is education for us, and the conservation part, and how we can help. And I know so many of us on this trip were donating absolutely everything that we possibly can to bring joy and advancement and understanding. And just like I said earlier, a couple of weeks ago, Janine, travel expands your brain and your heart. There is no place on the planet like Africa.
Amy's about to cry.
I am. Thank you, because this is what I do. So, and anybody who's watching that knows me at all well knows that this is, that's normal for Amy. So Sandy. So this is why Sandy and I are cry sisters, just to do this together.
Yes.
So,
and that's amazing that you do. That is. Amy.
It really is. Yeah. It really will change your life, and there's so many ways to do it. And this is why Sandy is one of our best suppliers to do that. So I'm feeling very inspired that maybe one of our private groups should be, I don't know.
I think it should. And I love your escorted journeys. I think it's just magic what you're doing. And
thank you.
People that join you are so lucky, because you've thought about every single detail on the trip, and you've tailored it specifically to your group. So kudos to you, because you're showing people what they can get, and it's going to be fabulous, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So one of the things, Janine, I just want to say, and I know Sandy's probably not going to say this, so it's important, because Africa can be very scary to people. And I know Tim, for one, I wasn't concerned at all because I knew Sandy, right? So I knew that Sandy was going to create a great experience for us. So I was not concerned at all. Tim, on the other hand, was very concerned. And we're world travelers, and he was really concerned about what could possibly happen when we're there. So, I mean, you have to confront the elephant in the room, right? And pun intended. So what I want to say is, when we use Sandy to build our group tours or even individual tours, there is not a single moment, not one moment of concern, fear, nothing, because you are immediately secure. You are immediately travel confident, because when you walk off your plane, there's somebody there with a sign that says Relihan, which is what happened to Timmy and I. As soon as we got off the plane, and I didn't even expect it, to be honest with you, so I'm just being silly, but as soon as we got off the plane, and he took our bags, our carry-ons, walked us through immigration, walked us through absolutely everything, the most delightful gentleman. And every single stop that Tim and I did on our own, like we had a stop in Johannesburg, same exact thing. You walk off, there's a guy there with a sign that says Relihan, and he takes our bags, walks us through immigration, walks us down to get our bags, make sure we're in we were flying first class. So we were in the first class suite area for American and British Airways. And he made sure we walked up, and we had Julia in tow, who didn't have a first class ticket. And he said to the girl there, let her in the first class. And we said, yeah, let her in. She said, okay. So Julia got to hang out with us, take a shower and stuff. So it was, Sandy makes sure when we use her as a supplier. So anybody who's like, oh, I want to go, but I'm afraid to go, don't be afraid. If COVID-19 and this lockdown that we've all been in, and we're not able to go anywhere, I can't even go see Sandy to hug her, then if it's taught us nothing, live for the day. Live for those moments, because we don't know what could possibly happen. And the next trip that we take that's exotic and really far away probably won't be until 2021. So make it really freaking big. Make up for the fact that we are in this lockdown situation. We should be taking note of everything that we've taken for granted. I got my nails done for the first time since February yesterday, and I'm there in my mask, and you have to wash your hand like 27 times. And I got my pedicure, and I had to wash my feet 27 times. And I was like, just so thankful. And I'm like, these little things I used to take for granted every 2 weeks to get my nails done. And to think that we could bring your beautiful country, Sandy, to the world. Anyway, Janine, go ahead.
Thank you, Amy. So
you're welcome. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's true, because I know we're all emotional about everything that's going on in the world. And the one thing I just like to echo is, don't wait. If you have a trip of a lifetime that you want to take, don't wait, because we don't know. No one knows. We're all so you know what? Make a plan and go. And if it's Africa, go to Africa. If it's wherever, if it's Florida, go to Florida. I don't care, but just
you can
go
make
out
more
there
money,
and
but
do it.
You can make more money, but you can't make more memories. And if this has taught us anything, spend the money. You can't take it with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so on that note, we're going to wrap it up. And thank you so much for coming on the show, Sandy. Where can people find you on social media if they want to connect with you and see what you have and what you're posting and all the fun stuff that you have on your Facebook page?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, we are on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/Hills of Africa. And we are on Instagram at Hills of Africa. We're on Twitter as well, believe it or not. And Yeah, our website is www.hillsofafrica.com, and I would love to, continue the journey and share the experience with everybody, or just pick up the phone and have a chat. I love chatting. So thank you so much for having me on tonight. What a pleasure and so much fun, and cheers to you guys. Here's to you.
Cheers to you too. And don't forget, if you want a copy of Sandy's presentation or our guide to the 9 questions you need to ask before you plan a trip to Africa, just write the word Africa below. That's it. Simple, easy peasy. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming on, Sandy. And we hope you're all inspired to keep dreaming about travel. We'll be here next Friday night, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And
actually, we won't be.
Oh, we won't be. Amy, you're right.
No, we won't be. So I want to say that we're going to be because it's July 4th weekend next week, and we're going to do an encore presentation of a previous one. We might even do this one again. We're going to decide which one we're going to do. So Janine and I will not be live, but we're going to do an encore presentation. But 2 weeks on July 10th, I do want to say that Janine and I have a pretty big announcement on July 10th. Yeah. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So just put July 10th on your calendar, and that's all I'm going to say. It's going to be amazing.
All right.
It's big, though. It's big.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sandy. Have a nice weekend, and cheers. Cheers to you all.
Cheers. Wow.